Hi everyone, I'm going to talk to you about tips for a successful Kickstarter. Arrow keys don't work. Great, awesome. So, who am I? I'm Chris Chung. I make this game about cats called Cat Lateral Damage. You may have heard of it on the internet. We did a Kickstarter last month, and we raised quite a bit of money because people like to throw their money at cats at home. So I think we did a lot of good stuff for a Kickstarter. I mean, $61,000 is quite a lot of money. I figured I'd just tell you guys about some of the tips that I saw that I think we did right, and maybe if you're thinking about doing a Kickstarter or you're doing a Kickstarter right now, you can kind of incorporate some of this stuff. So TLDR, I don't like reading, so this is the basic thing. So make your page look good. Get your reward tiers looking good too. Tell everyone and just be honest, be human about it. So the making your page look good, that's basically your story. Your video is the most important thing. We started our video right kind of towards the beginning of when we were preparing for the Kickstarter. And it basically took the whole time of us preparing. Just filming and editing and sending it back and forth between the videographer and getting feedback and all that stuff. So don't underestimate how much work your video is. It should be really good because it's the first thing everyone sees when they get to your page. And if they don't like the video, they won't even bother reading the rest of the page. So it kind of has to draw people in. And the way you draw people in, especially for a game Kickstarter, is you should show the gameplay of your game very early. If you don't have any gameplay, you probably shouldn't be doing a Kickstarter yet. So yeah, video is probably the most important thing. For the general page layout, it should look pretty professional. No typos. Make sure you proofread it a lot. The thing I like, and the thing that we did in our Kickstarter, I actually showed at the end too. We have a bunch of art headers and stuff in the page. And I made all those to fit the style of the game too, so it's kind of like a whole cohesive thing. So you see the video that shows off some of the gameplay, then you look at the page and it kind of reflects the game, and just generally just one nice package. Yeah, along with that, screenshots. People like images, and I think people don't like to read too. They have a very short attention span, so if you can just get them with flashing, moving GIFs and stuff, that's good. Photos, I don't know, photos might not be applicable for you. I mean, my game's about cats, so I had to have some cat photos in it. I had a photo of me in it so people knew that there's a person making the game. I think I'll go into that later too. A demo. So I mentioned if you don't have any gameplay, you probably shouldn't do a Kickstarter. I think, personally, if you have a... computer went to sleep, so not good. If you have a playable demo, I think that's really good. It shows people that you actually have something working and they can kind of visualize where it's going. I think like an alpha stage is fine for Kickstarter because people will see the product, your project. They'll see it working. If you have a demo, they can even play it and see the basic how it's going to work, and they can kind of see where it's going in the future. You can kind of explain that in your page too. And for our page, we had a link to the demo right at the top. So once you see the video, you're like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this. The next thing you see is a demo. You're like, oh, well, I'll try this. And if you hook them with those two things, they're like, well, I'll just take my money. And I think I mentioned this before too. Getting feedback before it's launched. You have a preview when you start your Kickstarter. Send that to other developers, like everyone you know. They can help you proofread, and also it was really helpful for us for our video because I think our original video was like 2 or 3 minutes long. People were like, that's boring. Cut it down. Like, there's too much talking. There's not enough cats. Whatever. So and I don't know how was our actual video? Oh, our actual video was 2.5 minutes long. So you kind of want to get that good balance between gameplay, just other stuff that you want to put in. I don't know if I really have any other video tips other than gameplay. I mean, you can do a successful Kickstarter with like a 30-second, 1-minute video, I think. And I guess there's another thing too about like if you do interviews with the team or other real life type things that are kind of weird. I mean, I think if you do, I mean, whatever you do, you should have a good amount of gameplay. Just because people aren't giving you money for your filmmaking abilities, they're giving you money for this project. So they want to see. Next, reward tiers. This is something I think we did really well too. We spent a lot of time, putting down some first pass at them, getting rid of some tiers, adding some tiers. Make them reasonable. I've seen some. Well, I guess one thing that I mentioned at the end. So I don't know if you guys know the game Night Trap. It's this, it's kind of like an awful game from the 90s, and the people who made it say, "Hey, people like this game. We're going to run a Kickstarter for $1/3 million." If you look at that page, it's awful, and they're not going to make it. And if you, I don't know, I was looking at the page, and they do so many things wrong. Like I think one of the tiers is like $350, and you get a handwritten note. And like, okay, and like $10,000, we'll put your name in the credits. It's like, okay. So I mean, that's kind of a thing. Like $10 or however much your game costs. Like, if you have a tier that's that much, they should at least get a copy of the game. I mean, you can. For ours, we have. I think our tier was like $12, but you get like a soundtrack, mailing list, like another PDF with some cool stuff, photos and stuff. So. You kind of want to see like what you're giving to people and make it, make the value reasonable. Don't have too many. Again, in Night Trap, I think they have, I didn't count, but they have separate reward tiers for each version of the game. So they have like 3 identical tiers that is like PC, Mac, and like something else. And I don't even know if it's Linux. But if you can pare down your tiers. So like our tiers, we have, for the game, it's like you get a Steam key or a DRM free for anything. So it's like, and I think we only had like 10 or so tiers. So just like not, because if people go and they look at the tiers and there's too many, they're gonna be like, I don't know what to, I don't know what to back. So, if they're reasonably priced, I think the Kickstarter average is $25, but I think, at least personally, I usually go see for what the $10, $15 level is. If you get a copy of the game, that's great. Just, back it. And, I think I mentioned too. I guess I'll get to that. So yeah, with rewards too. I think it's general consensus that you should, if you're in an indie game, you should probably shy away from physical rewards, because those are costly to print. And I think when Kickstarter was pretty popular a year or so ago, like that was like people want to say, oh, I want to get an art book, I want to get a T-shirt. But now it's kind of like you can get a digital art book, which costs less than printing, and is less work. You want to give rewards that won't give too much extra time onto you, because if people give you, say, $20 for an art book, that's pretty much, you're not getting any of that money, because you're spending all that time and money putting it towards that reward. So you kind of want to balance that stuff. Higher tiers should be better than lower ones. I guess going back to Night Trap, I think getting a copy of the game is worth more than getting like my name in the credits. So I don't know why the price is so weird, but I think a lot of Kickstarters too, they do for the higher tiers you get everything else plus something else. It's kind of cool. And I think that really works for Kickstarter. So that when you see $100 tier, you should be getting significantly more than if you back the $10 tier. Rewards should be valuable to backers. Personally, like naming the credits is cool, but I don't think a lot of people, think that's. I don't know. I don't think they pay a lot for that. I think one thing that we did too is we have a beta access, which we're going to be doing shortly, and that's slightly more than just the base level of the game, because that has some value that people can play the game early, give some feedback, and all that. So, and lastly, be creative. Especially if you don't do physical rewards, you kind of want to give some cool digital rewards, or just kind of rewards that, I don't know, that's kind of interesting. I think one of my favorite rewards is for $50 or $60, you can send us a photo of your cat, and we'll put it in the game. And like that costs us nothing, because you just send us a photo and a name, and we build a system to just, have those in. And I think we have like 200 cat photos that I have to put in the game. But that's awesome, because people will play the game and say, my cat is in this game. And I've had a bunch of people say this cat's no longer with us, and it's in the game. So. Let's see, what's going on? Tell everyone. This one's kind of tricky. Reach out to all the press. That's kind of hard. I know personally I hate cold emailing people, but sometimes you kind of have to do that. It's really nice if you have these connections with press beforehand. That really helped us. So yeah, just reaching out before you launch is good too. So you can tell people that it's coming, and then tell them when it's launched, and then tell them, you know, we're halfway, or we got funded, or we're looking for stretch goals. That's press-worthy stuff. YouTubers and streamers, I think everyone knows that those are maybe bigger than press now. So if you have, again, if you have a demo and you can have YouTubers playing and streaming your game, that's really great for Kickstarter, because they can just put a link in the description, and you can get views that way. Social media is great. I mean, I post to Facebook and Twitter all the time, and that's just another way for people to hear about things, and also for them to share it. If you can make some kind of viral content, they'll pick it up, share it around, and that just links it back to you. And tell friends and family. That kind of goes back to tell everyone, not just press. Like I posted on my personal Facebook, and I know my mom is probably my biggest supporter, but she tells everyone, like she meets someone and then she's like, hey, have you heard this game? And they're like, I don't even know what a game is. I think their question is like, can I download that on my phone? And I'm like, well, anyways, but family's good. My grandfather actually gave us $500, and then he didn't pick a reward tier. So I'm going to put his cat in the game, so. But yeah, so just get it out there. Last thing is just be human. I mean, it's easy to think of all these people as just numbers and money coming in, but they're people who want to see your project succeed. They want to have a part in it. So definitely, just keep them up to date. Show them that you're actually a person behind the game, not just a faceless corporation, just trying to grab their money. And that kind of goes back to reward tiers too. You don't want to scam people and say like, well, for $30 you get a thank you. Like you want to understand where they're coming from. And, listen to feedback. That's a big thing. I think the very first comment we had was about the reward tiers. We just had one, put your cat in the game, and they said, what if I don't have a cat, I have a dog? It's like, well, it's a game about cats. I don't really want dogs in it, but so it's kind of an argument between me and it. $1 more than the cat tier, that you have to send us a really stupid photo of your dog, put it in the game. So that kind of goes back to being creative and stuff, and being flexible, because if people want it, and if people want to give you their money and they can't, that's kind of awful. So kind of be flexible and let people give you their money. Yeah, just be honest. Don't be cocky, condescending, or anything. Just be act like you would want someone to act with you. I think that's a life lesson. So I guess if you take anything from this talk. Updates. Yeah, updates is, I guess that's kind of just a thing. Make sure people know what's going on. And you don't want to run the Kickstarter and then disappear for a while, or launch the Kickstarter and then don't talk until the end of it, because people are wondering what's going on. And they want to show that people want to see that you're active and that you want this to happen as much as they do. Then I have some miscellaneous stuff. So what helped me was having a community first. I think we had like about 3,000 followers on Twitter. On Facebook, and about 1,000 or so on Twitter. So having that following and people knowing about your game beforehand really helps with Kickstarter. It's really hard to get money if no one's heard of your thing. So, I know people launch Kickstarters to get the press, which is good, it's just much harder. So, yeah, having a lot of things like that, and like previous press, if people have written about your game before your Kickstarter is launched, then that puts a seed in people's mind. So when they see the Kickstarter, like, oh, I remember that, and then they're more likely to check it out. Let's see. Pick start and end dates. That's something I added last minute. We kind of delayed our Kickstarter because E3 was happening. You don't want to launch a Kickstarter or end a Kickstarter during E3 because all the press is going towards that. So just make sure there's no big events happening. There's some uncontrollable things. I know Will Bryan was talking about his Kickstarter they did last year. It happened like shortly after they launched it. The marathon bombing happened. So you can't really control that. But you can look at a calendar and see, PAX is coming up, E3 is coming up. Let's try not to do that. And then last two is this, view it objectively. When you're done and you look at it, would you back this product? Would you look at the reward tiers? Would I spend this much money for this? What I'm getting? And people that you send it for feedback will tell you that and stuff. If you can do it yourself, just the first pass, this seems a little high. I don't know if I would have paid this much for that. Then that's a good starting point. And yeah, like this talks about oversaturation in the market and too many Kickstarters. So like, just like why would people give you their money? Like make it worth their while and make it something interesting that people would want. And yeah, that's about all I have. This is info about the game. The last thing is actually our Kickstarter, so you can kind of see it. Make sure I didn't lie about anything, I guess. Make sure I'm actually looking at it objectively. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is probably not time for questions or anything, but yeah, you can email me or whatever, I'm around that kind of these things. So, yeah.
Thanks.